Welcome to our Workwolf Wednesday webinar. Really excited to have everybody with us today. We'll give everyone a couple minutes just to get joined in. And just as a reminder, for those of you, you probably heard from Mike and I before at some point, but my name is Madhav, the VP of Sales at Workwolf, and Mike Nguyen, who's our head of product. Yeah, excited to have everybody for our webinar. Again, for the future, these will all be sent out over email to get invited. And it'll be available on our YouTube channel as well for those of you that, for whatever reason, weren't able to attend. All right, so why don't we get started? Again, just quick intro for myself, Madhav, and Mike, head of product. Just some housekeeping, as we normally do in these webinars. If questions come up as we're going through this, just feel free to put any questions that you may have into the chat, and then we'll be sure to get them. Mike, I'll be sure to moderate and have a look at them as we're going through this. And yeah, we'll go through them as we go. So just looking at today's agenda. So today we're going to be going through a couple different things. Really excited. This really will start with communicating with candidates. And communication, we'll start with a job description. So a little bit of a tie-in to our last webinar for those of you that attended there. We're going to go through communication through the job description and some best practices. We're also going to be looking at the messaging tools that are available to you. We'll look at some templates. We're going to look at email integrations, and we'll look at reminders. So all of this is designed for you to effectively communicate with candidates. And then we'll leave some time at the end for a Q&A. All right, with that, Mike, over to you.
Awesome, thanks. So yeah, like Matt mentioned, the first, building off from our last webinar, which was with Indeed, and I think we can share in the chat if anyone had missed that. Communication starts with your first impression, which is the job description, the job posting itself. So this is the first thing the candidates will see when they are even considering applying to the job. So it's good to have a good first impression. So some, I guess, high level points that we covered last webinar is, make sure that the job title is easy to understand and avoid any internal jargon, any internal kind of words or nomenclature. Keep the job description brief, and make sure that you have all of the important parts of a job description. So introducing your company and why a candidate might be interested in working there. You're basically selling this job and this position to a candidate. So it's almost like an ad. So all the important details need to be there. Information about your company, information about the role. Keep the job description not too long as well. Be very brief and concise, because a lot of job seekers are mostly on their phones now. So just be mindful of that. Yeah, so we have a job description generated that helps you build out at least a template or a cookie cutter kind of framework that you can work off of. But generally, these are kind of the components of a good job description. And again, we covered this extensively in the previous webinar, so just please review that if you need more details on that. Next is, once you have the candidate in here and once you've identified that they're a good fit, what can you do? What are some best practices with communicating with the candidate? So I have a demo account in here. So I'll just use this for the sake of this webinar. So once you've identified who you want to move forward with or who you want to speak to, we'll just be using this candidate going forward. So you have some options here. Obviously, you can message them just directly through our platform, and we have either built-in templates here. So the Workwolf templates at the bottom here are ones that we can provide to you. Or if you want a custom one, you can create some. You can see a lot from our company here. I can go through what that looks like. So if you're creating a new template, you can call it, I'll just call it a test for this purposes, but um, we'll create like a subject line. So invitation, oh, sorry, to interview. And you can just build this out however you like. And this can be very generic. So you can say, you can use the placeholders at the bottom so that it can fill in context for you. So you don't have to message Mike Workwolf directly. You can just say hi, full name, and it will automatically place in their name in here. So this is how the templates works. And it's like, I would like to request for an interview or something like that. Thanks. Right. And then you can even add your company name, or even you can add in the job title, the job title position. And yeah, so all of these kind of gold highlights here are going to be filled in with the information from the job. So if I click create and I send this out, I have it linked to inbox here. I created this inbox just for the sake of this webinar. Once that comes through, you'll see that message and obviously filled in with the text. So this is what the candidate would see. They can go in to view the message, respond. What that might look like for you and the candidate is that we have this thing called the messaging center. So you can see here, it's kind of like a chat window or like a historic chat of all the messages that you've sent to this candidate. You can see that it was sent with my email. If they respond, the response will come back. You can see that it's been read as well. So yeah, that's where you'll find all of that. Madhav, is there anything I'm missing here?
I think I would just add that the message, like Mike is showing, is fully customizable. So sometimes questions that we
Yeah,
get asked are like, "Hey, can I ask a candidate, to complete X question? We have these three questions that we want all of them to answer." So we're just using the interview thing as an example, but really you can send whatever you want, right? If there's any type
yeah,
of communication, any questions, interview prep, um, yeah, there's all. It's totally up to you.
yeah, exactly. And you can see in activity log if you're kind of reviewing like all the messages you've sent. You can also see it in here as well. So you can see that me or Michael sent this candidate a message, and what did that message look like? You can kind of see a preview, and you can jump right into that conversation. So we have all these tools available just to make sure that you stay on top of any communication that gets sent out by your team. That will be recorded here. So let's say Madhav actually sent out this message. I can go in and check what kind of communication this candidate has already had with Madhav. I can go here in the activity log. Um, okay, so what else was there? Okay, so the other piece and component to this is so you can create, like Matt said, any message that you want to send to the candidate, you can do so here. It's simple as that. In addition to that functionality, we also have this feature called Send Reminder. And this is primarily for sending a reminder to complete any of these tasks that will help them complete their profile. So you can see here, because this is a demo account, this candidate hasn't taken the Pathfinder assessment yet. So you can go in and remind them to take that Pathfinder assessment. Um, the difference between sending just a regular message to a nudge to tell them to complete the Pathfinder is that now you're basically subscribed to this candidate with that task. So once the candidate receives that email, I see here you can see, action required, take the Pathfinder, they take this assessment. Once they've completed that assessment, you'll get a notification that, Mike Workwolf completed the Pathfinder. Click here to review the results. So basically, this adds that extra element of subscribing to this action to make sure that you can follow up and make sure that they get it completed. So you can do that for any of these four items that's part of their profile or their application with the Pathfinder resume, the screener questions, and the introduction video. You can request for them to record a 30-second introduction video, and yeah, it's the same thing. So they'll see. email come through to invite them to do it. They'll have a link directly to complete it, and then you'll get a notification once it's completed. Um, one of the important pieces to this is by default, when you sign up for Workwolf, we use our own internal system to send out this communication to the candidate. So it'll be coming through a domain at like I think it's no reply at workwolf.com. So that's the email we use to kind of facilitate the communication back and forth. What you have the option to do as well is connect your own email. So here, this is what I've done. I've connected my own email. In this case, it's still at workwolf.com, but it is coming from my email address. And that also unlocks the ability to connect your calendar as well. So here, interview availability, I've just managed that my general availability is from 2 to 5 Monday to Friday. So when I send an interview request to a candidate, it would look and allow allow the candidate to book any time between 2 and 5 p.m. I can make changes to this as well. Like maybe on Wednesdays, I'm completely, I don't want to have any interviews on Wednesdays, or maybe on Fridays. I can do that. So I can save it. So now when I, request an interview, they'll see some time slots on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday between 2 and 5, whatever I don't have blocked up already um, with another calendar event. So just going back to that original pipeline, how that would work is you can go in here, you can select them, and you can invite to interview. And you have some options here. You can see anyone else that's connected their calendar to Workwolf. They'll be available here. So I could, you know, add Madhav as the interviewer. It would look at his calendar and his time slots and his availability. But just for this purpose, I'll show myself. You can change the duration, a 15-minute quick interview, or maybe it's an hour. You can specify what kind of meeting it is. And once you send the invite, the candidate will now have the opportunity to go onto the platform and they'll see time slots. So they'll find one that's available, punch that in, and once it's confirmed, you'll see it on your calendar. And it'll also obviously send them a calendar invite as well for that time and date. Um, so yeah, so going back to connecting, just one last bit, back to connecting your email, what that does unlock is the ability to send your messages with your email, or you can revert back to having Workwolf send those emails for you. There isn't a major change. We would strongly recommend using your own email domain just so that it's more personal. You are able to kind of create a subject line now. It's coming from you directly and not from some platform. So we do recommend that you connect your email just for deliverability and also just for um, validity, I guess, from the candidate that they know that this person is messaging from that company and not from some external platform like Workwolf. I think that's pretty much it that I had to cover. Matt, is there anything else that you think is worth mentioning or?
I was going to also add that it's pretty exciting. Like we've come quite a long way here with in terms of what Mike has just shared with us. If you think about it, like looking at the platform from a full value perspective, right? So what you're essentially doing is you've taken some time we created this really exciting job description. We push it out to the job boards, and now when candidates come in that are a strong fit for what you're looking for, now you can also automate the communication with those top fitting candidates, right? So a lot of the things where your time that you may have been spending time on some of these tasks that were just tedious, like they needed to be done. A lot of those things can now be automated where your time will be best spent once we've already done a lot of the heavy lifting. So the communication sent out, messages are sent. As you can see, like all these things, these tools and automation are great. But what it takes from you is setting them up, right? It takes some time to set this up on the front end, but once you do, it'll make your life a whole lot easier. That's just what I wanted to add here.
Yeah. And we're definitely open to helping you set these up too. If you have any questions, we have your customer success representative to help you out with that. And I think that is a good plug or segue into potentially what we will be covering in the next webinar, which is automating automations. So like what Madhav has said, once you kind of establish what you typically do on the platform every single day. You know, if you recognize that anyone that's an 80% match or higher, you want to message them, you want to make sure that they do get this email or message gets sent out. You can automate that. You can do quite the opposite. If anyone that's below, let's say 50%, they're not going to be a good match. I want to automatically archive them and also send them a message saying, you know, we're not you're not a good fit for this role, but you might be for another role in the future. So it's always good to nurture those leads as well. Um, but that can all be done with automations. Like basically any tasks that you could do manually on the platform, you will be able to achieve and create automations around it as well. But we'll cover that in another webinar.
So Mike, the other thing I wanted to just touch on, you mentioned a little bit earlier, was the careers pages, getting the careers pages connected and just kind of
Yep.
going through like how that works. So one of the idea here is like when you post a role and you're communicating with candidates, sometimes what they'll naturally do is they'll want to check you out on the website, right? They'll go to your website and they'll just check out whatever they want to see. So it's always good. Like they'll probably look for a careers page. And when they go to the careers page, it's great to have consistency there, right? So we have this integration, which was really simple. Mike, why don't we just kind of go through that, and then we can look at an example of what it looks like once it's actually done.
Yeah, sure. So to find your career page is just on your dashboard and just under your company name for here, obviously it's Workwolf, but you'll see your company name and right below that will be your careers page. So there'll be an about us. This can be reconfigured in your company profile. So this description that you add here when you're editing to describe your company, that would be included in your careers page. And this is what it will look like. And we have the ability to copy a link for the Workwolf hosted career page, or if you want to, and you have ability to add in some HTML code to your website, you just need to copy this snippet into your page and it will appear on your own web page wherever you host that. I think we have an example. I guess we can use Magnus.
Yep.
They have a careers page here, find jobs. So this, for example, is one of our customers, one of our partners, Magnus. They've embedded their Workwolf careers page into their own homepage here, or sorry, their own website. So you'll scroll down. This is that snippet. They can, candidates can come in here and look at different jobs. So when they hit apply, they'll get brought to the application page where they'll start their application, upload their resume, and apply for the job. Do we get any questions in the chat?
I don't think we have any questions that came up yet. If there are any from the group, just feel free to just add them into the chat bot there while we're on for a little bit more time.
It's worth
I think just
mentioning
as
that.
sorry, go
Oh,
ahead,
sorry,
Mike.
go ahead. No, I was just going
I
to
was just
say,
going to say,
Mark
just
did
as we're going to go
post.
through these things, we'll just make sure that, like Mike was saying earlier, if you have any questions on how to set these tools up, you message in that little chat bot that's there at the bottom right of the screen. You'll see that pop up. You can message there. You can also email support at workwolf.com is another area that you can message it on if you need any help with these questions or setting things up.
Great.
So it doesn't look like we have any questions. Is there anything else, Mike, that you wanted to go through?
No, I was just gonna say that Mark added the previous webinar to the chat, so that's where you can find the link to the ones with Indeed. So if you're, it was a really good webinar. It went covered how to post a job effectively and get candidates. So it's worth reviewing if you haven't watched it yet or were part of it. We have a question that came in. The embedding into the website, it showed a login. Could you show that again? I think that's just because I'm currently logged in and that's what it looks like. If I log out, or do you mean on here? So here, there's no login when it's embedded. Yes, that. Okay. There's no login when you're embedded. When I click to apply, it's because I'm logged into it. Okay, maybe if I log out, it'll make more sense. Let's try that again. So I click on this job, I want to apply. This is what the candidate will see. So they'll put in the first name, last name, email, and start the application, or they can apply with Indeed. If they already have an account, they can log in and apply that way. Is that what you meant? And so how are they added? Oh, so this is the job description. So this is how Magnus posted their job. So it might look a bit strange, but that's just the job description itself. I think they all look like that. That's kind of how they post their job. But whatever you included in your job description would be added there. No, that's not generated by Workwolf.
Are there any other questions at all from anybody in the group?
All right, I think we could end this webinar early. It was short and sweet.
Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.